a YouTube channel near you.
Hello, Angela.
Hi.
How we doing?
Doing great. Had a great weekend. I was all over the place. And one weekend I was in Canton, then I went right to Weirton the next day, and then I was in Lancaster, Ohio for Wands and Wizards, and then back again to St. Clairsville. So I was everywhere and doing psychic portraits, and it was great. It was a wonderful experience, and seeing a lot of Ohio in a short amount of time, for sure.
It sounds like it. Well, I guess we'll say hey to everybody in chat so far. We got Chris in the house. Amy. Good to see you, Amy. Dal Dal. I hope I said that right. Dal Dal.
Yes. And it was a great
Yeah.
weekend at the psychic fair. So absolutely, there's a lot of psychic fairs that are going on.
I've got a question after I say hi to everybody because there's something I've always wondered. We got Maria.
Oh,
Maria's from.
you should have seen in Lancaster, Wands at Wizards. There's people in costumes for that event. They don't just dress up; they dress up their dogs. And they have a little costume contest for the dogs. So there's dogs who are wandering around all over the town, with little wings, little magic costumes on. And I saw a baby in a stroller in a little wizard outfit. It's really cute.
That's the way to do it. Break them in young.
Yes.
You know, that's pretty much, I grew up in the 70s, so, the Incredible Hulk being on TV and Saturday morning cartoons helped that. But these kids got to be jump started into it now.
Jump started into the Harry Potter fandom.
Yeah, it's a whole nother group of heroes from when I was growing up. Chris, hope you had a great weekend at the Psychic Fair.
Absolutely, I did. It was wonderful.
Nilda's everybody blessings to all. Maria says hi from Norway. Boy, that's a good thing for internet. Crafty, sorry I missed the St. Clairsville Fair.
It
Kathy
was
A
good.
says hello. So you were doing readings and portraits, and now does that? I have to ask, expending that kind of energy, does that you got to recharge your battery at some point?
Well, what I end up getting is I feel I get more energy because when I'm doing readings, I'm actually channeling light. I'm channeling source. There's light flowing through me all the time, and then I feel like I get more energized. The only thing I get tired of about is this time I get tired, I need to recharge my batteries. If I've done so many portraits, I've gone without food for quite some time, and I said, "Wait a minute, I've got to go get some food here." But other than that, I actually feel energized, and I am tired after the drive, but that's it. For the most part, anytime I do a reading, I actually feel more energized.
Chris also has a nice tiara.
Thank you.
Oh,
And Maria would like to know, do you feel me and Philip reconciling and when? So let's ask the runes and find out for you and see what the runes have to say. The first rune I got is Kenya, so Kenya's is wisdom. So what I'm feeling like the rune is asking, is this really a wise question to ask? There has to be some searching and questioning of that, is what this rune is telling me. I don't want to say anything offensive or anything like that. I'm just giving what the rune's coming across. Next rune I have here is Uru. So Uru is strength and fortitude. So I'm being here to exercise better judgment, and then you need to exercise a fortitude and have the fortitude and the strength to carry on. And the next rune I got is Sowilo. Sowilo is success. It's also epiphany. So what I'm feeling on this is like, okay, this, act with wisdom. Let wisdom be your guide in this. But you need to have fortitude and patience because it feels like with Sewilla coming up, Sewilla being success, it feels like there's something going on that you do come together again or meet again at some point. I feel like it's during the summer, since this is a solar system symbol, but it's also going to be a bolt of lightning. So I feel like this is something that you will eventually meet. I don't know what the results are, but odds are looking better than what they were before. But I'm not sure about fully reconciling, but it looks like you do eventually do come across each other and meet each other again. And since it's so Wheelo, that's usually the sun. So I would think somewhere around a summer situation. It might not be until summer you hear back from him. There's is the rune start saying anything for certain in this point? Simply that that you need to think with your head first, and approach this from okay, from a mental and wise state, and then just have patience. You'll have to endure alone for a bit, but eventually I feel like you will start having a conversation again.
I feel bad for Maria sometimes, because sometimes
Yeah.
she'll pop in on Friday night and sound really sad and need to talk to you. And it's like,
Hmm.
this is the big witch. No, I'm sorry, you got to wait like 3 days. I don't know what else to tell her.
Right.
Maria's
Yeah.
just thinking.
I mean, you're welcome, Maria. I mean, I can't. I mean, the runes can't guarantee anything, but it does, and the runes at least indicate that you'll have a dialogue sometime, early in the summer.
Yeah, so there's still hope.
Right.
And Maria,
Okay.
it'll pass by before you know it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And isn't there, what's the saying? Absence can sometimes make the heart grow fonder.
Yes. Hmm. And then Chris
Chris
wants a
L.
general reading for Chris. Okay. Okay, so the first rune I got for you is Wunyo. So Wunyo is the rune of joy, and this is literally like the family colors flying high. What I'm getting on here with Wunyo, I'm feeling like, hey, a fresh start. I feel like a fresh start is just beginning. It feels like something has ended and something new is starting. So it feels like it's a fresh start. Like, hey, catch your breath and you get to look forward to new and better things. The next rune I got is Ingwas. So Ingwas is the rune of stability, prosperity. It's very masculine. It's very protective, and that's exactly what I'm seeing here. I'm just seeing stability, security in your future. So it's very positive here. Next rune I got is Sowilo, which is success. I'm getting the impression of success here. So it looks like you get a fresh start with a lot of success following.
That's awesome. That kind of coincides with like the new moon, right? Where everything's a new beginning.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Crafty.
Crafty.
Crafty would like a general reading. Okay. Okay, Crafty. So the first rune I got for you, this is Ansus. So Ansus is speaking wisdom, particularly speaking wisdom. It kind of looks like an F with the arms pointed down. What I'm getting off of this, Crafty, is I feel like you have a lot of wisdom, but I'm being told to keep that wisdom unspoken and kind of hold it to yourself, and only give that and give that to somebody who is going to apply it and apply it well. The next rune I have here is Othala. So Othala is the Orlog, or the oneness, the universe. This is also the DNA, family, inheritance, prosperity. So it's very feminine and represents like a goddess. And from this, Crafty, I feel like I'm being told divine feminine for you. I'm just given the words divine feminine. When I hear those words, divine feminine, it feels like that you need to tune into the energy of the divine feminine. Like that's where most your creativity and your wisdom is coming from. The next rune I got is Kenya. So Kenya's is the rune of wisdom. It's the rune of guidance. This is supposed to be a torch, and a torch that you would make in an emergency in the woods. So the bottom part of that would be the handle. The top part would be the lit part, and the top part would be lit with pine tar, and that pine tar that would be set on fire. The bottom part, the handle. So what I got here is trust your intuition. That's what I'm being told. Trust your intuition.
Okay. Maria looks like has a second part. Part of it's, yes, I'm going through a lot of depression and a hard time because of the breakup. The relationship was toxic and not healthy at all. And then I'm wondering about kids. How many do you feel I'm having in my life? I'm 33 years old.
Okay. Let's see, Marie, see what it says about children. Okay. Actually, just before even touching anything, as far as the runes go, I kept hearing three. So three children. The next rune, and it's interesting, she said 33 because I see 333. I've been seeing that for a few days. 333, 444, 555. So it just think that 33 comes up, and then 3 pops into my head. So the first one I got is So Willow. So Willow is success. So I'm actually feeling like a very successful, like healthy pregnancy. I don't see any. It's not indicating any issues with pregnancy and delivery when that comes to fruition for you. According to the runes at this time. And the next rune I got is Right Though. So Right Though is a journey of the sun. It's also a journey of honor. And this rune is telling me they make sure it's the right relationship. And it's under really happy circumstances, so only really good circumstances where you know you have that solid relationship and committed relationship, it's saying here. And it feels like too this might be with a different person. It may not be with Philip. Okay, it may not be with the person you just broke up with. And so the runes are giving me the feeling of. And the next rune, this is Ingwas. So Ingwas is prosperity, fertility, but it's also the god that's Ingwas, the god of the household, protector of the household. So I'm feeling like a male who's really devoted to family and wants a family. Okay, he wants that as well. This may not be the person that you just broke up with. It may be a different man, but he feels very protective, very loving, caring person. And there's no pretense with him. So that's good news.
Yeah, that sounds like a whole lot of better circumstances, especially with children involved.
Mm-hmm.
Chris on her reading was ironic because I just cleaned up my altar crystal area tonight and with the intent to bring in fresh energy.
I think it's validation.
Exactly. You're talking about bringing in new stuff. Joanne Stewart, what are the runes saying for me, darling?
All right, Joanne. Let's see what the runes have to say for you. So the first rune I got for you is Right Though. So Right Though has been coming up a lot. So this is a journey with honor and integrity, and a journey of the sun. This is supposed to be Odin's wheel. And then what I'm getting off of that is I feel like you're on a good journey, but it keeps getting disrupted because I keep seeing a journey, and a journey in the form of an arc, and then I keep seeing little things in the way, and you keep running from one problem, then running the next one, run the next one, while still trying to maintain your momentum. And the next rune I got here is Thorasos. So Thorasos is the rune of caution and also boundaries. While you're still trying to keep this course, I got here from this rune to know where your boundaries are. If it's too much, you have a right to say no. Like, I can't do that right now. I can't address that right now for you. This is, you have to deal with that and I have to deal with mine. That kind of thing. You have to know where your boundaries are. And then the next rune is land goose. So land goose is flow, it's growth, it's water. What I'm getting off of this is that you're trying to seek just a nice, peaceful, uh, comfortable pace in life, and that's where you're trying to go and get to. But in order to do that, you're going to have to keep setting more boundaries and keep adjusting those boundaries so you can have a more peaceful journey and forward momentum instead of all this interference where somebody just pulls you from one way to the other.
Yeah, I gotta stand firm.
Yeah.
Becky, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Dal, can I get a reading for the remainder of 2025, please?
Absolutely. And let's switch rooms for a little bit. I think we're going to go with these ones. Dal. So for Dal, well, this is coming up again. It's a different, completely different rune set, but still coming up. So Wilo is the rune of success, the sun, and epiphany. So what I'm getting is epiphany, and I feel like late in winter. So late December, it feels like some sort of epiphany, some sort of breakthrough. I just see this bright light coming through for you. And the next rune I got, this is Noddies. So Noddies means love and protection, but it's also emergency, bare necessities, and can even be stress. So what this represents, this particular rune represents two sticks. The two sticks making the bow to start a fire. Right, you're out in the woods and you have no other means of survival, and you know you can't go anywhere. You're making this fire. You're rubbing those sticks together with the bow. And what I'm getting off of this down, I feel like that it is a dark winter for you. It's, even though you have this great light and you have this enlightenment, it still is, there still is a need for, I would say, companionship, and it just seems like it's more isolating, and that is something that you might want to avoid, and then work on yourself. So work on channeling the light that you obtain later this year. And also, I'm getting a sense to reach out to other people. Make sure you have a good plans laid out for your social activities over the winter to kind of keep your spirit up and through the winter. Like, you know, meet with your friends, plan with your friends what you're going to do for your winter get together. That's what that room seems to be telling me. It's what the images I keep seeing, like you sitting around with friends and having a good time, and that's going to be important. The next rune I got here is Kenyas. Kenyas is light, but it's the torch again, where you have the bottom, the handle, the top is on fire with pine tar. That one I'm seeing is maintain your light, your inner light. So your inner light would be sort of like your inner spark, right? Your creativity, your connection with the divine, and knowing who you are, knowing your value, and maintaining that throughout the rest of the year. So perhaps some positive affirmations, you know, going back and looking at your achievements so far this year, engaging in something creative, engaging in something that gives you a sense of value or a sense of self-worth, even perhaps even volunteering to help others over the winter.
There you go.
Dow says I need a puppy.
There you
Oh,
go. Maybe that'll do it.
and maybe you
Let's
could
see.
volunteer at an animal shelter over the winter and take care of those puppies.
I thought about that one time, and then I was worried I'd get too attached to one of the puppies and it'd get adopted out, or I would wind up with like 6 puppies.
Like a bunch of puppies. Well, when I went to the Lancaster, Ohio, and I was in Stump Plants, and, and people will adopt plants like you they think like they're puppies and treat them like pets, and I came home with a couple of adopted plants, a aloe vera plant and another succulent. So I came home with green puppies. So maybe you want to call them that.
Great. Yeah. Kathy A reading, please.
Okay, Kathy. Okay, so the first rune I got for you, Kathy A, is this rune. This is the rune for Halloween also. But there is a runic calendar, so there are runes for a length of days or months. This is the October one, so this is the Halloween rune. But this is also disruption. It could be transformation. It could be healing from the past, protection. There's a lot of things that it can represent. In this case, I'm getting the sense of there is a change that you're trying to make in yourself, but you're struggling with it and you're just about there. It's just like it's hard for you to bring yourself to take the final steps that you know you have to do. And the next rune, this is Thorasos. So Thorasos is caution and boundaries. And this rune is telling me like you would like to have more boundaries for you for your privacy while you're going through this so that you can have that alone time to work on your inner self, the work that you're trying to do for yourself to transform yourself is what I'm seeing with that room with Dora sauce. Like make sure you set up your boundaries so you have your privacy. The next rune I have this is I was, and it represents death and regeneration. So this is going to happen. You're going to experience that death of the old self and the regeneration into the new self. It just takes a little bit of patience, and you just have to be willing to take the last step you know that you have to do that.
Right. Well, I saw the next question, but I think I'm going to put this up real quick before we get into it. And you'll see why when I read the question. Maria has a question. This is, I'm wondering, I have a small bump on my forehead. I went to 3 doctors. No one wanted to remove it. Will I find a doctor who wants to remove it, or can I do something to remove it? I'm guessing she's talking about doing it herself, which
Interesting. I would, I put my, stuff like that. I don't give medical advice, but stuff like that I usually see a dermatologist for and to see what they say.
that's what
But
I'm
you said you
thinking.
have a bump on your forehead.
That could
Yeah.
be a lot of different
And we
things.
don't, you're right. That could be any number of things that could be. They may have to test it or do a biopsy and try to figure out what it is before they figure out what has to be done with it. But let's take a look here and see what the runes have to say about finding a doctor or professional that might be willing to help you with this and get to the bottom of this and see if it needs to be removed. The first rune I got is Ingwas. So Ingwas is male, and it's strength and stability. So I feel like this is saying yes, there is a male doctor who is willing to help you that you will find. That seems he actually feels to me he feels very sincere in helping you. He's in the profession to help. He cares more than about people, even to maybe his own detriment. So I feel like you're going to be with find somebody that is actually going to help you. The next rune I got is algae. So algae is protection, sanctuary, and I've I'm actually seeing some procedure in an office procedure of some kind. Because this means a safe place that you may undergo with him. That could be anything to removing it, or as part of the biopsy process, you might just remove it just to see what it is and remove it that way as part of the biopsy. So the next rune is Raito. So Raito is honor and is finding the right person to do this. So it looks like you will find this person, but it's searching a person that has a good, solid reputation. So you might want to find somebody, or look up reviews of different physicians in the area, and just see what other people's experiences them with those physicians have been, and what their perception is, and maybe you can find somebody that way that might be able to help you and get that taken care of.
Yeah, definitely do your due diligence, and please don't try to do it yourself. Please take Angela's advice and look hard and look deep, because it sounds like there's somebody there for you to do it.
Right. It sounds like I feel like the runes say you're going to meet the right doctor that's going to help you.
Just need to keep Googling. Thank you, Miss
Yeah.
Angela. Joanne Stewart, a voice so true. Oh, we did the puppy. Training a puppy will fulfill the dark days. Yes, they will. Some days trying to potty train can feel like a dark day, but it's still worth it. Thank you. I understand
Yeah.
completely.
Oh, you're welcome, Kathy.
Chris is encouraging Kathy. You can do it. It's cool. Do you have a green thumb, Angela? Succulents are pretty. So what are
I do. No, succulents they're a plant that retains a lot of moisture. They're kind of, if you think of an aloe vera plant, that is a succulent. It has the gel. It has like a gel-like substance, and its leaves look very thick. They're very dense because they're filled with this kind of gel. But you don't have to water them that often. Because they retain moisture so well, and they're usually a tropical plant. And succulents, they are very good because of their thick leaves and their coloration is just great for like fairy gardens, because they tend to, some of them tend to be small, and they kind of reproduce by their roots. And aloe vera plant, it's a very large succulent, but a lot of people really like it because it has a lot of medicinal uses, or it's been attributed a lot of medicinal uses for your digestion and burns and skin issues and things like that. And yeah, so the succulents are, you have to have experience with them to really know how to treat them right. It does take time. You can't treat, and they have special soil needs and lighting needs. If there's too much light, it'll make their leaves burn. If it's too little light, then they run into a little deprivation there, and they kind of shut down. But you can kind of bring them back with aspirin. You can actually crush aspirin and dilute it in water, and then make sure you mix it in with the dirt, and it boosts their immune system. And then that plant can recover quickly. And just make sure you get it to the right environment that it needs. It kind of needs the perfect environment, a little bit of sun, a little bit of shade, and I do like succulents. And it's challenging to get them through the winter since they are kind of a tropical plant, but you can do it.
Yeah, Maria, I'm so afraid Philip is stronger than a woman. I cry so much, Angela.
When something like that happens, the new woman will probably run into the same issues as you did. Until he works on himself, he's going to be from one relationship to another, but he has to fix himself first.
Yeah, I think the old saying is you can't be in a healthy, happy relationship unless you're a healthy, happy person.
That's right.
Something. Chris L., only if time could you do the rest of my 2025 too, please and thanks.
Sure. Oh, Crafty says they're very forgiving. Now, the succulents can be forgiving sometimes, but they when it comes to watering, because you forget to water them, it's okay. They're pretty good at retaining their moisture. Okay, so Chris, the rest of 2025. So the first rune I got for you is I was. So I was is death, regeneration, communication. And I have for you, Chris, it feels like to me the rest of the 2025 is I don't see a whole lot of change going on. Since this is the center column, right, this is supposed to be the center column of the roll tree, I'm getting us the same stability, it's sameness throughout. The next rune I have here is Helgelaz. So Helgelaz, again, the Halloween rune. We're in the month of Helgelaz, October, and what I'm getting off of this though is transformation that's needed. It feels like you could take this time to initiate the transformation that you want, and this is also healing from the past. To take this time to initiate the transformation that you want, look into seriously to the person you want to be, and work on putting away all that past hurts and just finalizing and just be over and done with whatever you're carrying from your past. Is what I'm getting off of that. The next rune I got is Ingwas. So Ingwas is stability, and this is also prosperity. This is also very masculine. What I'm getting off of this is that you'll be stable financially for the rest of the year, but now is a good time, since things are going to be stable and not changing that much, to work on yourself and work on improving yourself and healing yourself from past events and past things that have affected you.
Angela, you never cease to amaze me. Vast amount of knowledge you have, and you are a woman of many trades.
Automotive, plants, art, and German and French history, a little bit of everything. I just love to learn as much as I can about everything. So thank you for that. I don't feel knowledgeable all the time, but definitely thank you for that.
Chris says, okay, we'll do that. Thank you. Well, you were telling me
You're
before the
welcome.
show you were getting your hands dirty, changing the oil and everything in your own vehicle. So,
Yeah,
well, so not
I
only
a
plants, but
while
you know
back
how to get down and dirty.
oh yeah,
So,
I repaired a tractor, so put a starter in the tractor and put a rear wiper motor in my car and change out the plugs and just regular maintenance stuff that I can do myself. It's not too much of a big deal, and
I don't know many people that can put a sticker on a
I've
tractor.
done some. My job is automotive related during the daytime, so it would go in and I would do research and just watch class sessions for mechanics and training them and getting them certified, but they have to learn and learning that, and then also hands-on with the tractor. And I love learning on the tractor because the tractor is old and everything is supersized. It's all cast iron, so everything is huge in it. Everything is easily found, easily arranged, and as far as plants goes, I've always liked to keep little gardens, and especially if it was an apartment and didn't much space, I would have a little fairy garden outside of my balcony, and I do a little bit of planting now. I just like to have my own little plants, and then my mom's plants. Between me and mom, there's a lot of plants. There's a lot of succulents. There's a Christmas cactus, a lot of spider plants, and everybody knows about spider plants. Those are the easiest. Those are the
Oh
easiest
yeah.
plants to deal with. They just pop up everywhere, anywhere, and everywhere. the
Grow, grow,
way
grow.
the way they just drop off, and then if they drop off near another plant and they end up in another plant's dirt and don't care, it's going to grow there. And then I'm also learning some languages too. So I'm learning French and German. I'm comfortable with German. I'm still kind of remedial level with French. Um, and I
Cool.
do like a lot of history, and those types of things always catch my eye. If I see some history or something in science article, I'm always interested in that.
Well, Chris L summed it up. Angela, stop. You're making the rest of us look bad here. Just kidding. Please.
Not to mention it, like doing paranormal investigation and doing these readings, I learn a lot too. Because I find that doing this, I come across people, spirits, and souls that have had a lot of different professions, different backgrounds, and I sometimes it's helpful to understand and relate um, to someone that's a mechanic or to someone um, who may not speak English and may have a different language, have a different experience in history, and it's also helped me be around it because I get exposed to people that lived all sorts of different lives, that they have passed on, and they have a lot to share still.
Yeah. Dowdell, it's good to be rounded and self-sufficient. Crafty,
Yeah,
is my wisdom going to carry me through the rest of 2025?
let's ask Crafty. Let's ask the runes and see what they say.
I got to rely on my wisdom.
Okay,
I am
so
going.
so the first word I got for you, Crafty, this is Othalas, and this is the divine feminine. So I feel like the divine feminine, the wisdom of the divine feminine will carry on to the end of 2025. This is Feiyu. This is cow, but it represents money. It's the F that's kind of with its arms pointing up. It's supposed to be the horns of a cow. So I'm getting that wisdom will carry it through, and I do see that with Feiyu, there is a blessing coming when it comes to finances. So absolutely, and I actually feel like you sit down and you go over your finances and you plan that out, and it actually ends up being a work that pays off when you sit down and do that, according to this room. So sit down, have a look at them, and consider what your goals are there. The next rune I have is write those, or write those. A journey of the sun is a journey of honor, and what I got here is the intention. Well, for one thing, usually this means honor, but it is a solar, it is a sun symbol because it's supposed to be the wheel of Odin's chariot going across the sky, and basically they believe that the sun was Odin's chariot going across the sky in Nordic cultures. But I'm actually getting sun therapy, like light therapy of some kind, being recommended here, like light therapy or something sunshine related, some source of vitamin D3 in this, like literally sunlight, or some sort of light therapy of some kind.
Sounds like I need to ride Crafty's coattails on her wisdom.
Yes.
Good. Chris L. Oliver Light. Somebody I haven't seen in a while. Little Twisted Blessings. Angela, can I get in line for a reading, please?
Absolutely. I haven't seen you in a while, Little Twisted. I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, she's been in our prayers, that's for sure.
So the first rune I got here, this is Kenya's. So Kenya's is wisdom here. It's intuition, and this is the torch that sees through darkness. what I'm getting off of this, a little, a little twisted. What I'm getting on here is that I feel like there's been a lot of darkness around you, a lot of chaos, a lot of uncertainty, and I'm being told like to seek divine wisdom, like pray and pray and pray and ask for help, and just ask for divine wisdom, ask for divine guidance, and pay attention to what you're being given there. And then the next rune I got, this is a land goose. What I get off of this is healing. Like I feel healing, and I see a lot of growing, a lot of green growing plants. So that's symbolic of healing. So I feel healing happening. I feel you feeling better, and I feel like your attitude gets better, and emotionally, mental health, it just all feels better. And then the next rune I got, this is Pertho. So Pertho is the rune of the future. And it's just a die cup. They used to put die in here and roll this die. And what I'm getting off of Pertho is that you have a very good future to look forward to. So don't get discouraged, according to the runes.
She says,
Yeah, and
thank
then Little
you.
Twisted says, yes, she
Yeah,
said, yes, I almost didn't make it twice on a journey.
it's been a rough few months for the Outlaw family, it seems like. But glad you're still here, Twisted.
Yes,
Continue prayers.
absolutely.
Oh, what a blessing. Thank
And
you.
you're welcome, a little twisted. So absolutely.
Anybody else want to jump in?
And I agree. It seems like a lot of people. Sure. Anybody else any questions or anything?
Yeah.
As I also,
Welcome back, Twisted. And
somebody may be aware of another um, hotel in Parkersburg that's also haunted. So it looks beautiful. I want to explore that hotel. Nobody know another haunted hotel as the Blenner Hesed Hotel in Parkersburg. I'm very interested in looking into that. The Anchorage Mansion I know is haunted. And the plant store I was in this past weekend, there were definitely some plants being moved. That there's no breezes, no vents. It's an old building, probably goes back to the 1800s, and there was some activity that was happening there in this town. I mean, all the buildings there are quite old. And the funny thing about it, though, that morning we had the door open so I could bring in my easels and my other equipment, and a squirrel came in and was wandering around the plant shop, and like he was seriously shopping there. It wasn't like the squirrel was panicked and was had ran in for whatever reason. It was like the squirrel was deliberately going around and looking at all the plants and trying to find maybe a new plant to hang out in or take home. I asked for
he was
signs. I didn't expect a squirrel to
looking
be,
for he was looking for a 5 finger discount.
okay. And then down,
Dal
yes,
Dal
he
is
was.
Dal Dal is
Okay,
my
it's my
nephew,
nephew.
psychic or schizophrenia.
So let's see, Dal. Let's see what the runes have to say. Of course, a professional will have to make a judgment call on that as well. As far as the runes knows, is your son psychic or schizophrenic? Okay, so let me take a look here. Um, the runes indicate here he's pointing he's pointing northwards. So this is Tiwas. This is pointing to the North Star. What I'm getting is that he does have a spiritual connection. It's like he does have a gift there for spiritual connection, but I do feel like it's overwhelming him. Okay, this is not easy. It's getting that sense of being overwhelmed. I'm getting overwhelmed by it. The next rune is death and regeneration and communication. And what I'm getting the impression of is he has this open line to the spirit world that he doesn't know how to shut off, and has no way to control the volume of information that he's getting. and the exalted volume of experiences. And to do that, he needs to set boundaries. I know for me as a child, I was overwhelmed. I mean, I was really overwhelmed, and I was taught. I had spirit guides come and teach me how to set boundaries. He can simply say out loud, "No, I set these boundaries. I don't give you permission to keep bombarding me with this information. Leave me alone from, I need to live my life from this time to this time. If you want to talk to me at this time, when I have a spare moment, you can, but here are the rules when you start communicating with me." I mean, that's what I did, and that definitely helped me. And I would ask my spirit guides around me to enforce those rules so I wouldn't be bombarded and overcome so much. Yeah, it is. It is because he doesn't know how to deal with it. Yeah, he sees things move. So, according to the runes, he does have what I'm getting the impression I'm being told that he's a physical medium. So a physical medium will often have objects moving around you because you are able to feel energy and connect with energy, and um, you can actually feel things moving, and you feel things in your body as opposed to some other senses. But I feel like he's mainly a physical medium. So he can actually speak what they're speaking, um, feel what they're feeling, and he's overwhelmed, and he would need to set really strong boundaries for the spirits and say, "Look, I can't have you being this disruptive in my life. You have to stop." And I would have him call in St. Michael. I would have him say the St. Michael prayer. There is the long form of the St. Michael prayer. I would have him say the long form. The short form is great. The long form seems more powerful. And you can actually look up online the long form of the St. Michael's prayer for lay persons to the Catholic Church. And I found it has very powerful results. And he can ask St. Michael, the angel, to come in to enforce his boundaries that he's laid out, or any angels or any guides that are willing to help him to come forward and set those boundaries, help him enforce the boundaries that he needs, and to teach him how to continue setting those boundaries. It is difficult to set boundaries if you don't know where to start with them.
I'm wondering, it sounds like Crafty says that is very accurate. If Crafty and Dal are talking about the same person or somebody else Crafty. Who are we talking about, Crafty?
And it sounds like we were talking about Down's nephew.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then Crafty said that sounds accurate. So I wonder if they're talking about the same person. They both know him.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. Of course, the runes are indicating that, and I'm feeling that for him. Um, it's just like if you take a child, to a place with a lot of blinking lights and sounds, and how kids will get overwhelmed. They get overstimulated and they get upset. It's similar. If you're only with the paranormal, you will get apparitions. You might hear voices. They may move things, and they can be incredibly disruptive and demanding of your time. I know I had one spirit earlier this year that she first came to me in a dream. I had gone to Cincinnati, came back from a psychic fair, and she had followed me from Cincinnati. And at night, she was talking out loud, and she grabbed me from behind in my bed and was pulling me down into the bed. And I told her, "Stop. You don't do that. You don't do that to me. I am not going. I need to sleep. I get up to work in the morning. I have to set time. I will set aside time for you, but right now I need to sleep." And she actually said out loud, "All right, have a beautiful sleep," and she let me go. Then she did appear as an apparition a few times at my home. eventually another spirit came and assisted me with her in crossing over. And then Chris says, if you get a message that weren't necessarily okay, Chris L. So if you get a message that you weren't necessarily asking for, like being out shopping, how do you personally discern whether to pass or leave it be? For example, like if I'm going out and I'm getting a spirit message, or if I'm on the phone and I get a spirit message and I'm dealing with the general public, for things like that, if we're getting a message, what I like to do is be very subtle about it. I can post that on social media for the person, or I can approach the person and just make a comment that can be neither here nor there, but kind of test the waters and just kind of see if that person, how that person responds. And most of the time they are very open and very responsive, because like, wow, like, how did you know to say that to me? Like, how do you know that? Well, it's your message, bless you, and kind of go from there. Um, but I also let the spirits know, if they're going to send message to somebody, have them come to me. Have them come to me and seek me out specifically. And that way, that person, it's validation from that person when they're coming directly to me, and that they are really listening to their guides. And there's even more validation when I start speaking and they realize, yeah, that's true, that's accurate. Like this past weekend when I was at Lancaster, I was reading for this man, and he says, you hit the nail on the head countless times today. Because there was so much I was saying, and he was going, yes, oh my gosh, yes, and his friends behind him, yes, that's true. you know, validation. And I did have a woman that she came in that she said she felt prompted to come in and ask for a reading, and she usually doesn't do that. And then her one of her ancestors came through, and he was just amazing, and he had so much wisdom to pass on. I was just astounded. I'm like, I've got to take notes from this guy who's coming through. He can help me. My goodness, how much wisdom he came through with. It was just amazing.
Virgil,
Hi,
greetings from
Virgil.
Manchester. Dal, I told him he is a medium before, but he is not sure what I am talking about. Thanks for the confirmation.
Okay, what do you mean by validation? So, validation is, for example, oh, go ahead.
No.
Okay, so validation is evidence of, for example, I had a lady sit for me and with her daughter, and she had me read for her daughter. And they told me nothing, they spoke nothing, I know nothing ahead of time. And then I said, well, your daughter, you've actually set up her room with all this yellow in it, and you've actually turned it into a mini art studio for her, and you're encouraging to be creative and go into the creative arts. She's also on the swim team at school. And she just looked at me and dropped her jaw, just dropped. It's like, how did you know that? There is no way that you knew what her room looked like. There is no way that you could know that she's on the swim team. And this is a little girl, right? This is like a 6, 7-year-old girl. I described what her room looked like. So it was confirmation of that the reading was real, because I was able to describe things and give her information and accuracy that I couldn't have possibly have known. And I did this for somebody in West Virginia. All they literally did was give me this woman's name and phone number. And I called her, and once I made the connection, she was shocked that I described not only the size of the house, like the square footage, but how the rooms were arranged, the colors in every room, the apparitions that their child were describing to them. And there was so much being confirmed that these were all things I had no knowledge of, right? I was just given this phone number and asked, this woman is having some issues at her home. Just please give her a call, give her your impressions. And that's what I did. And then I did a remote viewing later just to confirm that we had dealt with all those entities that had been drawn to the place and that was causing chaos, and that they are no longer there.
Confirmation. You said what I said. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're coming up.
And
Has anybody got
Brian,
any questions?
here, anybody else have any other questions for me? And of course, I plan to be back in Lancaster November 8th from noon to 5 doing readings. And this Saturday, Saturday and Sunday, I will be in Paulding, Ohio at the old Paulding jail, at the haunted jail, doing readings there as well. So you can certainly come out and see me there. And in both of these places, you have to go online and go ahead and register ahead of time. And, you know, there'll be plenty of readers there. But the old Paulding jail, there's always something paranormal going on there every time I've gone there. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and where else can they find your art? And
Well, you can actually go and Google, you can Google me. Just Google Angela Bowley, psychic portrait artist. Just use Google. The first two results would be my website and my Facebook page, and I also have an Instagram as well. So you can click on those links that Google brings up with, and you'll see my website and my Facebook page, and it gives you dates of where I am going to be. And then Chris asked, will you be going to Kent in November? Actually, in November, I have another commitment, so I may not be able to make it to Kent. But I usually, if you just follow me on my Facebook page, you'll see my events and everything that are coming up. So you can comment, message me on Facebook if you're interested in the reading, or just send me an email. You can go to my website and do that. Any other questions before we go?
I think we hit everybody tonight.
Yeah, I think we did.
So far,
I think
so
it's been
good.
great.
All right, then. Well, on the good notes, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and everybody have a wonderful night. And it is the new moon, so time to start afresh.
Exactly. And I believe the traditional saying is, let me find the right one here, you know, from coast to coast and around the world. Oh, wait, prayers for Justin Decker and Jennifer McDaniels, please. Jennifer is communicating again, so that is good news. So the continued prayers, please, for them. But with that, coast to coast around the world, have a good night. Angela, it was great being able to do a show with you.
Thank you. It's great doing a show with you as well.
We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
To a YouTube channel near you.